What if I got pregnant again? What would we do? Everything would change. Will I ever stop worrying?
Hey, Mom, can you play with us?
Do you ever worry about unplanned pregnancy? Now there's a way to push away those worries with Essure
Sure, honey. Let's go.
and free yourself to focus on what matters most. If you know you're done having children, maybe it's time for Essure, a simple permanent birth control solution performed in a doctor's office in less than an hour, without hormones, cutting, or the risks of getting your tubes tied.
Because I don't want to miss a thing.
Essure is FDA approved and has been in use for over 5 years. Your doctor can provide an Essure confirmation test, so you'll know when you can rely on Essure for permanent birth control. Essure is not reversible, may not be suitable for all women, and there are risks. Your family is complete, so visit Essure.com or call 1-877-ESSURE5 to find an Essure certified doctor near you.
Bayer is a major pharmaceutical and chemicals company that was founded in 1863 by Friedrich Bayer and Johann Westcott in Barmen, Germany. The company is one of the largest makers of aspirin products and holds a strong presence in diabetes medications, birth control, and other consumer goods.
At Bayer, we're here for you. So chances are you've seen us around the house, or around the yard, on the shelf, or even out in the field. Your mom knew she could always count on us, and your grandma did too. Because for over 150 years, we've been right by your side, advancing health and nutrition for everyone you love. So from all of us at Bayer, thank you for trusting in us, then and now.
There's an estimated 44% of women between 15 to 49 years of age using modern contraception methods in 2019. That's approximately 842 million women, with over 23 million female implant users worldwide in the same year. Where there is always a desperate need for an effective product, Bayer saw to acquiring Conceptus Incorporated in November 2013. The purchase allowed Bayer to own the lead practitioners of the Essure procedure, a contraceptive implant which was on the market since 2002. The procedure offers a permanent, non-surgical alternative to tubal ligation for women who no longer wish to be fertile. The procedure features slim plastic and wire Essure tubes, which are inserted into the fallopian tubes during a simple 45-minute procedure. The device causes scar tissue to form within the tubes, blocking sperm from reaching the egg and preventing pregnancy. If successful, the product promises sterility in 3 months.
Maybe it's time to consider the proven permanent birth control of Essure. Talk to your doctor if you are taking immunosuppressants or have a nickel allergy. Common side effects include mild to moderate pain, cramping, nausea, vomiting, fainting, vaginal bleeding, and pelvic or back discomfort. Visit Essure.com to learn more and ask your doctor if Essure is right for you. Essure.
The following interviewees are part of the Life After Essure UK and Ireland support group, all of whom were affected by the Essure procedure.
I am an Essure survivor and pledge everything to helping the women to get better and hopefully to get justice for everyone.
So I first heard about Essure when I was in a gynecology department in St George's in Tooting. I was there for something else and I saw the pamphlets sitting in the reception waiting room. So I picked one up and had a look and thought, oh, this looks like a miracle. I must ask about this. They hyped it up and told me how good it was and it's the best thing. And I obviously trusted them and said, yeah, can you give me more information?
I first heard about it when I actually went with my husband because we were talking about sterilisation. We went to see a doctor, a consultant, gynecologist, and she actually mentioned that to myself and my husband at that point. So we thought about it, we read up, and it sold it to us really, really well. It didn't say about any side effects or anything like that. We were told about it at an appointment, and then myself and my husband made a decision then and said, like, okay, I'll go for that. It sounded too good to be true, to be fair. Done in within sort of half an hour or so on your lunch break, as they say.
When they then suggested Essure, there was no recovery time and there was a test to guarantee that it had worked. It was kind of, the way I see it, it was almost sold to me a bit like a timeshare, in that it just seemed an opportunity that was too good to miss.
In 1976, the 94th United States Congress passed the Medical Device Amendments Act, which made the regulation of all medical devices under the FDA's jurisdiction. Unlike most contraceptives and pharmaceutical products, which receive a great deal of testing over a long 4-phase period, the Essure device went through a pre-market approval test. A very loose, low-effort approval process, far lower than drug tests despite the danger and importance of the device. The PMA clears pre-amendment devices for the market with no further consideration to testing, which can commonly result in recalling devices post-market.
The doctor told me that it would be relatively quick. I'd be in and out of her office, back home with the kids, making dinner, that everything would be marvellous. But in fact, it ended up being one of the most torturous experiences of my life.
I didn't have any tests beforehand. I was literally taken in. There was another consultant in the room who was training from Wigan and was asked while she was stood there, would you mind if this doctor watches as well as 2 other doctors, where I put this in because they're all learning because it's new. Of course, go ahead. It's fine. I was a young girl on my own, terrified. And sharing with other ladies the experience of having these things actually inserted in you. They say it doesn't hurt. It was horrendous and I felt violated. And I remember crying when I was walking home because you're just given your leaflet and told to go. That's it. There's no aftercare, no nothing. Just like go home and lie down. That's it. You're told. And you'll be called back in 3 months' time for an ultrasound and then we'll see you again.
I wasn't offered any pain relief. So I was laying on the couch. The first one went in relatively easy, and then the pain started, and I was in absolute agony. I passed out. I was sweating. I was telling them they needed to stop. But obviously at that point I'd passed out and woke up again and they were still going. I think they got the second one in properly. I can't really remember, but I just remember passing out again, just covered in sweat, and then they just sent me on my merry way. But when I did get there to start the procedure, the weird thing was the lady that was doing it told me that this is a rep. I'm damn sure she told me she was a rep from Bayer, like a salesperson, which I thought was really odd at the time. But obviously I didn't question it because they're doctors and I trusted them.
And, she asked me a few questions, had I had gas in there before? And I just looked at her and laughed. I've had 8 children, so of course I have. And within 15 minutes it was over and done with. And they, having it done was a breeze. As soon as I left that room, I'd rather go through childbirth. That was how I felt. I would go through childbirth every day than go through the pain that I had going into that recovery room. The nurse, she come over to me and I've never felt pain like it. And she's like, what's wrong? And I said to her, the pain that I am in is horrendous.
Bayer sympathises with all women who have experienced adverse health conditions, regardless of the cause. But the company continues to stand by the science supporting the safety and efficacy of Essure. Bayer recognises that women want safe and effective reproductive health options that best meet their individual needs and is committed to continuing its investment, innovation and leadership in this important area of health.
FDA approved the product even with a lack of research being shown. The panel even laughed about the possibility of being held accountable if the product failed hypothetically within 10 years.
It started off, and I was, with mood changes, and I've become very, very depressed.
Troubles going to the toilet.
My hair started thinning, and I put on 3 stone within 12 months. This rapid weight gain.
A lot of clotting. which I'd never experienced in my life before.
And my periods got really, really bad, really heavy. And I was just my whole body felt like it was shutting down.
Blood tests, teeth falling out. I noticed I was so tired. My bones were aching and it felt like I was an old lady.
And like my back pain got a hell of a lot worse, my lower back pain.
It's really hard to explain, to describe, but it was like an out of body experience as such, because for weeks and weeks and months, it's like people didn't know me, and my husband, didn't know me anymore, because I just, something snapped in me. I think I was just fed up with all the pain and people not believing me.
And as I go through my story over the years, I'm going to go through a few things, and how it escalated to the point where 2 years ago I was suicidal and I didn't want to be here anymore. It's really difficult to tell people. And I've got a really supporting fiance. We've been together 10 years and he was with me before I got sterilised. He saw the change in me, and I'm lucky that I've got such a strong, husband to be now, because he's seen me wanting to die, and he said it was the worst thing he's ever seen in his life, to see such a strong woman be so broken, to have so many things wrong with you and being told that it's in your head. But physically you have got all the symptoms, but they won't link it to something, because there was never enough evidence to suggest that these things would do that to anybody. This was before it happened, because I got sterilised. This happened within the first 12 months. I was brilliant at the first 12 months. It was when I had the Essure implants, my whole personality changed. I mean, if I sat my children down with you today, they will tell you sometimes I go upstairs to my room and I don't speak to anybody. I come in from work and I'll say, Mummy's going for a lie down. And that's horrible for my children, because I want to be able to love them and hug them and have the patience with them. And I do love them and they love me to bits, and I do have to constantly be told by my partner and my family I am a good mum. My friends tell me I'm a good mum. I do everything I can for my children and I try and teach them right. And I know that other ladies will probably feel exactly the same, to go through every day and have to fight and battle with all these different pains that you never had before. And you know that the only thing that's different is something you put in your body, but you can't get it out because you're not a surgeon. You can't get it out because you physically can't just pull them out. It's horrific.
In 2017, Essure was discontinued in Australia and England. This was due to the quantity of recorded instances of women needing surgical hysterectomies to fully remove their Essure devices, or else keep the devices out of fear they would further damage the fallopian tubes. A year later, the device was discontinued in the US after a great deal of negative press was built against Bayer. This was due to the release of Netflix documentary, The Bleeding Edge, which studied the ethics of new medical technologies.
All right, now to this important story. Medical companies are responding this morning to a critical new documentary on the healthcare industry. The film is called The Bleeding Edge, and it speaks with patients suffering apparent complications from medical devices such as the cobalt hip replacements and the Essure permanent birth control device. The movie claims loose regulations are putting patients at risk.
Most people probably believe when they get a medical device, they implanted, that those medical devices have undergone appropriate testing. But for most moderate and high-risk devices, that is not the case.
The sad thing is that it's women together that have had to do their own homework and try and educate and get it through to doctors to send them on their way to the right channels.
Support group it's just amazing, because you can go to GP for pills, but you can't go anywhere to actually talk to people about it. So the group is fantastic. I think it's brilliant, honestly, and I think Jan is just a miracle. She's just fighting for our corner.
Yeah, joining them was a massive help, because it helped me, people understood what I was talking about. I wasn't going mad. And especially the UK group over here with Jan, she helps tons of ladies. She straight away, I sent her a message just to see if she'd, point me in the right direction, give me a bit of advice. She was the one. She was messaging me constantly helping. Yeah, I don't know what I'd have done without those ladies, to be honest.
I can honestly say the women on the group, the only positive thing out of it is I've never known friendships like it. I can honestly say, they are my bestest friends. And it's not just a group, it's a sisterhood. You know, it's a unity and it's a sisterhood, and there's nothing that's ever too much trouble. There's always someone there to speak to, because people join and they're like rabbits in headlights, because it's so scary. You know, you're facing, what am I facing here? What am I reading here? I've got to have a hysterectomy here, and all these things go around your head. But when they join the group and they speak to the people, and it's fantastic. It is. It's absolutely fantastic. And while I've got breath in my body, I will never stop fighting. Never. You know, and it's about justice. Because if we don't stop it now, what's going to happen to our kids in the future? What are they going to implant into them? What's the next thing coming around the corner? You know, is it going to be worse? I just don't know. You know, and that's what frightens me, that we need to stop it now, to stop that happening, to protect our daughters and sons. You don't know. You know, it might be one for boys next. You just don't know, do you?
There were a total of over 39,000 US Essure claims involving women who say they sustained device-related injuries after receiving the implant. In 2020, 90% of that 39,000 were resolved after Bayer set aside $1.6 billion to close settlements. The women were not compensated nor given an apology.
What imaging do I need before I have Essure taken out? How is Essure meant to be taken out? And these are all very important, valid questions that the NHS should be sending out the guidance to the doctors, to the gynecologists on how to do it. We want leaflets sent round to all of the GPs telling them what Essure is, because we're still getting people that aren't even get as far as the gynecologists.
I want them to learn from it and not just trust these big pharma companies that are rushing through their tests, saying they're all safe, and they're not. They need to be investigated more. They need to be regulated more. They're not doing that with big pharma companies because they've got the money behind them. They've got the backing behind them. They get away with this stuff, and it's not right, and they're ruining people's lives.
I would hope that changes are going to be made for women. You know, that people start to listen instead of fobbing off, because that's what it certainly feels like, you know. And I think people need to understand that we're not hysterical. You know, we know our own bodies and we know when there's something wrong. You know there's something wrong. And I think that red flags should come up, I think, to doctors and things straight away.
The lessons need to be learned in the way that things are allowed to be put, devices being put into people without having appropriate thing, you know, all testing. If there is a collective of people that are telling somebody there is a problem, there should be an independent panel that will listen to them. We should not have to go through this. It is so unfair. It's already a difficult choice for a woman to sterilise herself. It isn't an easy choice, and that you usually a lot of emotion goes into making that decision. I just feel the disregard for our lives and the problems that we are all collectively sharing. They just listen to our voice. You can't silence it. And there's a lot of really inspirational ladies that are involved in this fight that I look up to, that are really trying, and they've been trying for years and years to get somewhere. And we're just little people, aren't we? But they see these little stories, and I just want, if I can touch another lady that's going through the same thing, there is a group of people together that will listen to you, and they're the ones that are bearing the brunt of it, really, because they listen to us all and they want to help. And I just wish they were given more power, and that power should always be given to someone that's been through that experience. And I genuinely believe it should be taken to the highest as it can.